What is the deal, beautiful people? It's your boy Ramon, Lifestyles Defined. Welcome to another episode of AMA. How this works is you ask a question in the comment section below and we will answer it in upcoming videos. Today's question is from Phone Daft and he says, Ramon, please answer this question. Would you say that the iPhone 6s has worse battery life with the Samsung chip compared to the TSMC chip? So, this is complete nerdom. Thank you for your question, by the way. This is complete nerdom. And what happens here is, for whatever reason, Apple's the chipset that Apple uses in the iPhone 6s has two different manufacturers. One from Samsung, one from TSMC. Whoever the hell that is, I don't know. I guess that was their internal development. I don't know. I stopped digging as far into iOS in a very long time. The problem here is the Apple nerds started to notice this trend where people were complaining about inconsistencies in their battery life performance, and when they started to dig, they started to get model numbers and baseband models and really started to compare the math, and they noticed that that's when they found there were two different versions of this chip. So then there are people who started doing benchmarks and they noticed there were very real differences in the performance of these two chips. And by real, I mean yes, they performed differently in different areas, but it wasn't a noticeable performance difference where if you had the Samsung chip, your phone was just slow. No, it's almost impossible I don't feel like you would wish you had the different version of the chip, right? I don't think anyone was taking it back to Apple to say, I don't want this. You're fucking up my Snapchats. I would like the TSMC model, please. I don't think it was that bad. Now, I never really even looked into the benchmarks to see what was going on behind it and see which one was actually the better performer. I think they had their differences. It was in certain areas, some performed different than the other. And what I really want to do here is defend Apple's decision, right? It's okay if Apple thought, and surely they knew about the differences in these chips. If they thought that it was okay to sacrifice a dip in this area of performance versus dip in that area of performance because this one manufacturer couldn't fulfill the god number of chips they needed and they had to do that, that's okay. Everyone gets an iPhone. And most people, I guarantee you 99.9% of people don't even know this is a thing. To speak to your question about what the battery, I don't know. You'd have to really look into it. I'm sure there's YouTube videos of people doing the comparisons of both. And I'm sure there's forums of people really going to town on monitoring the battery life and stuff like that. Do I think it really makes a difference? No. I mean, I would expect the difference. F1 is better than the other by 2%, so you get home and the Samsung chip might be on 56% and the TSMC chip is on like 51%. I don't think that makes a big difference in your life, so I don't think it's something to worry about. You know what I mean? It is something dope to geek over because that's what we do, but I don't think this is a big deal, and it didn't get too far, right? They started calling it Chipgate or whatever the fuck. Everything is a gate. And this one didn't get too far because ultimately it wasn't a big deal. But thank you much for your question. Thank you for your subscription. And for everyone else, please like the video and subscribe. I'm out of here. Peace.
From the deep forest into the sun.